Hi and welcome to the DE Physical Education Flip Learning videos. Practice, the forms of practice, theory and practical application. There are different types of practice. Skills can be developed and improved through practice. When selecting the best practice structure to develop specific skills, it is important to match the skills classification with the most appropriate practice type. When it comes to practice, there are four different structures: fixed, variable, massed, and distributed practice. Fixed practice. During a fixed practice, the skill is practiced repetitively in the same way. This practice structure usually involves drills, and because the environment stays the same, the performer is able to focus solely on the skill itself. It is considered to be an effective way to do the following: train someone to perform a close skill more consistently, introduce someone to a new skill for the first time. Some examples of this are putting in golf, a penalty kick in football, serving in tennis, a goal kick in rugby. Free throw shooting in basketball is also a closed skill, and it's also a fixed practice. It is used to make players' shots as consistent as possible. Variable practice. During variable practice, a skill is practiced in different settings with unpredictable and changeable conditions. When performing open skills, performers need to be adaptable, and variable practice will help them do this. The more open the skill and the more experienced the performer, the more variable the practice should be. A conditioned game is a good example of a variable practice for a team sport. A conditioned game is similar to a full game, but certain rules are applied to ensure that players practice a specific skill more often. For example, if you can see here, the goals are put back to back, and there's four different areas for them to shoot from. This is getting them to practice a specific skill more often. So for this example here, they're focusing more on shooting. With the two goals being back to back and four different lines, they get 4 shots, 4 times as many shots, 4 times as much practice. Practice key terms. Fixed practice. Repeatedly practicing whole skills within one training session. Variable practice. A training session that includes frequent changes of a task so that skill can be repeated in different situations. Test yourself. Write a list of sports skills that lend themselves well to fixed practices. Write a list of sporting skills that lend themselves well to variable practices. And write a sentence or two to justify your choices for both of these lists. Pause the video and answer the questions above. Massed practice. Massed practice involves long periods without rest, where a skill is repeated continuously. With experienced and motivated performers, massed practice allows them to increase their consistency within a particular skill. It also allows them to practice the skills while fatigued. It is most effective with low organisation or basic skills. Examples of this can be a badminton drop shot, a penalty kick, or a chest pass in netball. Mass practice is used to improve the consistency of skills that are used repeatedly in this performer's sport. So as you can see here, the athlete is doing multiple drop shots. Distributed practice is well suited to complex skills that require high concentration. You'll often find that most PE lessons are distributed practice style. You'll have a drill, you'll have a rest, you'll get some feedback, your teacher will talk to you, so you'll mentally rehearse the skill, and then you will go again. So you'll do a drill, you do a game, you get feedback. This is a basic version of distributed practice. Practice key terms. Mass practice, long periods of practice without rest, where a skill is repeated continuously. Distributed practice, intervals between practice in a training session for rest or feedback, mental rehearsal. Using different practice structures together. Often fixed practices are massed and variable practice are distributed, but this is not always the case. Good coaches will have an understanding of which practice suits the skills being developed and the performers developing them. Coaching experience will often influence which practice structure will get the best results. Practice structure will also be determined by the objectives of a training session. Often more than one practice structure will be used. Practices are often based on the coach's experience and the knowledge of his players. Here's an example of the first practice of the season with a team. The training is at high levels of fitness. As you can see here, this is a fixed practice drill. Creating a training session. Pick one of the 4 types of practice and develop a training program based on your chosen practice. Pause the video and answer the question. If you need help, look at the training program from the previous slide.